Okay, my outstanding friends, if you want a good laugh, stick around. I was just cleaning up some of my old stuff. And I went back to start cleaning out, and I found this, that when I first found the mud fossils, I was so upset. Nobody would pay attention to me. And that went on for a number of years, and I finally went ballistic. But I've been telling everybody it's been 15 years. Well, it's been more than that. It's been over 20 years. I went back and I looked. It's from 2004. These pictures showed up of the mud fossils. Where is it? 2004, right here. These three pictures showed up. From January 2004, I know what this is. That's the fingertip with the apical tuft, and these are from January 2004. So then I started to go back, and here's when I really started to get into this crazy. Was 2014. So that's like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and then I was getting into all kinds of different things, and all of the different body parts and all that stuff. And then 2015 I had the DNA tests on and the CAT scans and all that. But I didn't realize I started back at this over 20 years ago. So I was really surprised that it went back that far. I got to be honest with you. I was thinking about 12 years or so, 15 years, something like that. But it's 2004. That's 21 years ago. Okay, like I think I probably already told you, I was cleaning stuff out, and I went back to all the earlier stuff I had, and it went back to Mary Schweitzer, who discovered soft tissue in dinosaur fossils. And this is where they said, this is on 60 Minutes. I'm not going to play it because they blocked me. So organic material gave them life they thought was long gone, until what they call B-Rex. There's T-Rex, there's a Tyrannosaurus. But I found stuff that has wet, literal blood in it. She took acids and put them into these dinosaur bones, which bones are very recent. Bones are not like the stuff I have. The stuff I have is solid rock, because it was solidified in the Great Flood. These are post-flood. Mine are pre-flood. Now, so Mary Schweitzer discovered this. She was scared to tell anybody. She was terrified because she knew what was going to happen, and it did. They slammed her. All right. This is Mary Schweitzer. She's talking to Leslie Stahl, 60 Minutes. This is 15 years ago, 14, 15 years ago. And she says, here's how you tell a dinosaur bone from a rock. You lick it. So Leslie Stahl licks it. It's supposed to stick on your tongue like Velcro. Well, she's got bones that have these little porous spots in them. My stuff is just, it's either fascia like this, and it doesn't have those little bone holes in them, or it's mud stone, which is slippery, which is kaolinites, bentonites. They're clays, that's what your face is made out of, your whole body. Tissue, the red bloody tissues are made out of clay. See, this is what she's doing. She's sticking her tongue on something that has all these little tiny holes in it. You can stuck on those little things in your tongue. Now, mine are totally different. These are mud fossils. That's the artery. That's the vein. This is saturated with blood. You say, well, that doesn't look like blood. Well, let's just see if we can come to some resolution about that. What's it look like now? That's about as red blood as you can get. And that's because this was snapped off of here just recently. The blood was in between here, and it was wet and red. And because that layer came off, that blood is now exposed. You see how red that is? It's just blood. So you can lick the blood if you like, Leslie, but I wouldn't be licking too many bones if I were you. See, she says your tongue sucks up the capillary. You see this? She found intact cells which posed a radical challenge to the existing rules of science, and they did not like it. All right, listen to this. They published their findings all over. There's million years old stuff. Mary, Jack, and their team published their B-Rex findings. So they allowed them to publish because they're in the upper echelon of this particular group of experts. And they were promptly attacked, and I mean voraciously. I got something to say about this because I contacted Mary Schweitzer. I knew I was already frustrated at this point. I forgot how long ago this went back, but I was earlier than her. I was in 2004. This is whatever it was. But I did get a hold of her. She wouldn't talk to me because she was being attacked by everybody. And this guy's a nutcase. He's talking about giants. So she wouldn't talk to me. So what I did was, she wouldn't answer me. So I called the guy that had an office down the hall from her, and I said I had a really important message for her. And he got me through to her, and she said, "Don't ever talk to me again. I don't want to, just stay away from me." It wasn't really contentious. It was, I only work on my own stuff. Basically, that's the way she put it. But it was more or less, please stay away from me. I only do my own stuff. And at that point, I was so frustrated. I was just freaking out. And I still am. This is over 20 years now. I didn't even realize how long it was. It's just, time has just evaporated. This Jack Horner guy, he's a nut job as far as I'm concerned. He wants to make dinosaurs using some of this DNA. And there's going to be other whack jobs like this out there that want to do that too. This is wrong. There's a real problem in science. I'm going to tell you right now. And as a matter of fact, this was what I said. I was cleaning all these things up. I found all these old things. I was writing just nasty things about science. The black hole of science is knowledge. Dark matter solid. E equals mc squared, no. Quarks, no. Light has no mass, no. EMC, everything was no. I was going to, that's a little painting I did. This was about matter, energy, and heat. Everything was, it's still wrong. They still have no clue what they're doing. I was trying to come up with then what the conclusion, excess weight. Anyway, it goes on and on. The end. Negatron theory. I got a couple of papers up on, but it's all about the different particles. I was going to call it negatron theory. Science death spiral. The black snowball of knowledge is money. Never a second thought. They don't care. Job security, that's it. Entanglement at a distance is CERN. Dark matter, dark energy fills the space. You see this? I did a painting. I was gonna paint all my stuff. You see it? There it is right there. There's those little springs. This one's a very long structure of a spring. These are the shorter ones, and this is a real short ones. And it's the higher energy, the higher the color. Blue is the extreme. These are all the different calculations. And some of this has changed. But see, this is way back when. And it was 1839 I had there, which is what I have now. Or maybe, no, I had 1838, which was a proton. Now I got 1839. It's right in that area. And this year I got to figure out what I'm talking about because I forgot. 1 electron volt equals 6.75 angstrom units of push from a proton. And angstrom units are distances. So 1 electron volt pushes 6.75 angstrom units. I don't know how I came up with it. I have no idea. But I did have something up here. Oh, yeah. Schumann resonance. If you, not that one. Hold on. Well, let me show it to you. If you put this around the globe, like this, at the pole, you have the magnetic fields. And I don't know how I came up with this either. But I'm showing plus or minus 6.5 angstrom, hertz. I don't know how I got, but I'm showing it bouncing from high energy particles to this outside field, the far outside of the field, because way out here, you know, it's thousands of degrees. The first interaction from the sun to us when it hits here is thousands. It's cooking the outside face of the earth. It's just absolutely cooking it. Thousands of degrees. Now, how I came up with these different frequencies, that means approximately. This means approximately. But these are frequencies from 30 to 60 hertz. And I'm showing them decreasing by 6.5 hertz until you hit the surface of the earth. And the radiation is coming out like this, and I'm showing, see the red, that's the glowy part. It bangs here against our glowy parts, which are down in here. Our glowy parts are always on the very, very outside, the glowiest parts. Their parts are hitting, and field to field pushes. So it's extreme energetic reaction here. But then there's a bounce. It bounces down to the next range. And that white particle wants to get to Earth, so it's on the bottom. And it hits this range and bounces back up. And then you hit bounce, 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 bounce. And it keeps dropping, dropping, dropping the frequency now, which makes a smaller and smaller and smaller wave. That's what I was coming up with, I guess. I tell you, I forget all of this stuff. It's been many, many, many years, and I have no response from anybody, so I started to take it out on paper. And this was what, oh, Caesar, are you all right, buddy? Oh, man, this is my best friend in the whole world, Caesar. You okay, pal? These feathers? Yeah, he never gives me any trouble at all. Doesn't eat, doesn't poop. That's one of the best pets you ever get. Now, this was what I was going to do. I was going to do debates, and just make pictures of the debate. This was going to be, the accuser was going to be the finger that I have, 3-foot long finger. And the defendant is going to be the professor. The professor. And I was going to be the fair and very fair moderator, Roger. At that point, I had a beard and a mustache. I had all kinds of things. I had long hair. And I got everything here. And nobody would listen. And he still don't listen. Wait a minute, I got a shot of me long ago. Hold on. Like I said, I was cleaning out all my old junk. Here's me and my wife from a million years ago. And my motorcycle. Well, this is what I did the cash registers. I had all cash registers, computers, scales, scanners, everything. We actually made our own chips. We could burn our own chips. Had a software package we developed, and the poor guy that wrote all the software, he never made a penny, basically, and worked like crazy for years, and the big guys basically destroyed us, which just seems to be the way of life. See, I tried everybody in the whole world. I even got a hold of David Attenborough, and he actually wrote me back. I was very surprised. That was 10 years ago. Dear Roger Spur, I'm only interested in things that are many millions of years old. I must have said, see, I've never made a video on mud fossils. I thought he understood these, but he didn't, and he wasn't interested because he thought they were too new, but they're actually older than fossils. Yale says they were before there was any creatures that we can even associate to what was there before. They claim it was all soft tissue. I can show you, obviously it's not. They're all body parts and everything else. So this is how it all started. And I didn't realize how long ago it was. I was shocked when I saw these pictures and stuff come up. These things from 2004. Now, I didn't start to get crazy about it. Hold on, where is it? You see, this is Mary Schweitzer. Now, this was only 1 year ago. They only got 364 views on this. And it was Discovering Dino Tissue with Mary Schweitzers on a podcast. And she's a creationist. That's why they went after her, because she believes in God. She said, no, the Earth must be much younger than they claim, because 68 million years, you wouldn't have the soft tissue. And that's why they went after her, because they said, that's impossible, can't happen, we're going to destroy you, and they did. And one of the last things I saw about her, it starts right out on the top, it says, I don't care what they say about me. And it was her again. She got whacked. She didn't want to talk to me because she knew she'd get whacked because I'm even beyond, way past where she was with my giants and dragons and everything else, which is all recorded in history. It's these PhDolia people, they're PhDs with PhDolia. It means you can't see what's in the front of their face. They say, I have pareidolia. I can see anything and anything I want. No, I see exactly what I see. And I test, and I get it done, and they don't. They have PhDolia. They're perfectly happy, deluded. And that's what happened. She was destroyed. And the first thing out of Yale, Derek Briggs, I think it was like the first words out of his mouth was, what are you, a creationist? I said, what are you talking about? And because I think I told him I found these fossils and some of them were giants, because I was excited. I thought they'd be excited too, but no, they weren't. I thought they would have to look at it. No, they don't have to look at anything. They don't have to do anything they don't want to do. And they refuse to do their job, like Derek Briggs. And I see that, and it appears to be academic fraud. If you look up what academic fraud is, it's refusal to engage in an examination of scientifically validated information, such as CAT scans, DNA, and specimens. That constitutes academic fraud. That I would, if I was a student at Yale, I want my money back. I'd absolutely say, I want my money back. I want it back right now. And in that particular, if you were working in archaeology, anthropology, history, religion, all that stuff, because it was just suppressed, totally suppressed. And it still is to this very day. Derek Briggs knows what he did. And then he took credit for my work, claiming that it was soft tissue preservation from sand or something. But it was the Triassic layer, and he got funded by NASA. We paid him to repeat the research that I gave Derek Briggs at Yale. You see this? This is the problem with academia. They just take your work and call it their own. This is Derek Briggs. I gave him all my information. Okay, my friends, this is Derek Briggs, 2016. He had a paper entitled Exceptional Preservation of Soft-Bodied Creatures, a pivotal work in the study of fossil preservation. Highlights how environmental factors and geological conditions contribute to extraordinary preservation of soft tissues. The research has significant implications for both paleontology and evolutionary biology. If you're interested, I gave all my work to Derek Briggs long before that, and in 2015, and in the beginning of 2016, it was published. I wrote a book called Minds in Collision. It was Mudfossils and Velikovsky and Minds in Collision. And this guy right here stole my work, plagiarized it, and NASA funded him to do, because I contacted NASA at the same time. I said, you got all the same stuff you have here on Earth on Mars. And the next thing I know, they funded Derek Briggs at Yale to do the work I already did, and he's taking credit for. If there's a good lawyer out there that wants to go after Yale, I'm 100% on this. But I mean, I'm talking big time. I want Trump to get on this. He's talking about suing the hell out of these universities, and this is the one that really needs to be whacked, is Yale. And I think they should fund my university, because their university is a failure. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to sue chat too. Listen to this. I said, did Roger Spur write a paper in 2015 called Fascia-Facilitated Fossilizations, recorded soft tissue fossils that he had discovered? It appears there may be some confusion or mix-up with the details. There is no widely recognized paper by Roger Spurr titled Fascia-Facilitated Fossilization. Well, let's see about that, from 2015. Nor is there any well-known discovery associated with Roger Spurr regarding soft tissue fossils specifically facilitated by fascia. This is an absolute... Okay, my friends, this is just, in my mind, deception by chat. Chat is illegitimate as far as I'm concerned. Last week they knew exactly who I was, and fascia-facilitated fossilization was something that, if it was correct, would change everything about fossils. And I was the one who wrote the paper in 2015. They say no. Not by Roger Spurr, no. They're saying no, widely recognized. What does that mean, widely recognized? It's on academia.edu, which is where you publish papers that nobody else will accept, just like they wouldn't accept Schweitzer. And they, you know, okay, my friends, I'm going to try to stay calm, quite difficult, but they say no, there's no widely recognized paper by Roger Spurr titled Fascia-Facilitated Fossilization from 2015. No, it's all Derek Briggs. It's all about you. You must be mistaken. It's all Derek Briggs. It's all Derek Briggs. Researchers like Derek Briggs exploring exceptional preservation, soft tissues. I gave all that to him. This is my work, not his. All right, the way I'm seeing chat now, I was impressed with chat in the beginning, but now it's just a brainwashing mechanism. I just put in, did I actually have a paper which was published in 2015? He says, yes. This was, in a second ago, they said no. It's all Derek Briggs. Nothing to do with me, it's all Derek Briggs. Which is the one who I gave this paper to long before that. 2015, I had all my work done and I published my paper on academia.edu because nobody would let me publish. Academia is where academics go that are refused by the one. Derek Briggs is the one. They said, you got to get him to take a look at your stuff. I said, he refuses. And he said, well, that's because you are an idiot, Roger. And that was straight across the board. And I want him dealt with severely and harshly because he deserves it. Now they say, where do I actually have that paper? They said, no. Well, yes, I do. He says, yes. The paper's titled Fascia-Facilitated Fossilization. Exactly what I just said. And they need to put 2 R's on the spur. Come on, guys, catch up. It was published in 2015, available on academia.edu. It discusses the concept of fascia, which is the coating that surrounds everything. It's like your skin, it's the fascia that coats organs, everything. The connective tissue surrounding muscles, organs could play a role in facilitating the fossilization of soft tissues in certain conditions. Yes, a hot, salty water, silicate-rich, boiling flood. The theory presents an interesting perspective on how soft tissue preservation might occur in exceptional fossilization processes. Soft tissues are preserved alongside bones and shells. Everything turns, it's nucleophilic invasion and substitution, which causes nucleosynthesis. So the nucleuses of the atoms that were in there are transitioned, synthesized into new nucleuses, which changes their atomic structure into mud fossils instead of, calcium and bones and all that stuff that's in your body. It's an invasion and substitution. Just do some research. Nucleophilic invasion and substitution. Nucleophiles and electrophiles. And it leads to nucleosynthesis, which is a transition of the material into a new stable material, and if soft tissues become stable. Like this foot, from some creature we don't even know about, because this was pre-flood. And it had a built-in soul that springs inside. And we have a vast variety of these. And I had drilled a hole right in there, right into where the toe would be, in exceptionally clean conditions. And it's been, no, this wasn't certified as human yet, but that's out for testing. But I have 3 of them that came back human, and I presented all that to Derek Briggs. And he took credit for it, and now he's being the big hero. Oh, it's a pivotal point in fossilization history. Well, yes, but I did it, and I did it long before that. And everybody has been so obnoxious and arrogant in the academic realm. It's a disgrace, absolute disgrace to humanity, to the sciences, and to America, and to Yale. Yale, I hold them responsible for this. I contacted everybody at Yale, the president all the way down. They know who I am, trust me, very well. I even contacted their legal department, and I said, I want something done. Not a word. I hope Trump will come down on them like a ton of bricks. All right, so I put this out before Briggs at Yale. If I was correct about my mud fossils theories, what would change in history, paleontology, and geology? If Spur's mud fossil theories were correct, it would represent a significant and radical shift in our understanding of history, paleontology, and geology. Spur's theories about mud fossils claim that certain rock formations, all of them, and geological structures are actually the preserved remains of ancient creatures, including human or giant beings. The creatures were fossilized in a different manner than the traditional, specifically accepted fossilization process. Correct. So they got halfway right and halfway wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm being slandered by them by saying, no, I don't believe in the Velikovsky's theories, and that I didn't discover mud fossils, and I didn't write any papers. And then all of a sudden they say, yes, I did write the paper. Get it one way or the other, Mr. Chat. All right, and it says, while these ideas are highly controversial and not accepted in mainstream science, let's explore the potential changes. Everything changes. Rewriting of ancient civilizations. They're human, pre-human, giant beings, new interpretation of ancient myths, giants, gods, superhuman beings, mythology, archaeology, human evolution, human ancestors, giant species. Introducing new questions about the origins and development of Homo sapiens. I have Homo sapiens with 3-foot-long fingertips. New methods of fossilization. I've just done the whole thing about the fascia. Soft tissue preservation, yes, absolutely. Researchers would need to develop new techniques and methods to study and preserve soft tissue and preserve these soft tissues, including fascia suggested by Spur's work, and other biological structures, which could yield a wealth of previously inaccessible biological information, including the spurlock, which I discovered in these things, and they didn't even know about this. They didn't know about the interstitium, a new body part. I discovered that in 2015. That was what my paper was about, was this new fluid-filled layer, which is really the fascia, but it also included the interstitium. Anyway, new insights into prehistoric life. From everything. Geology, everything. Redefining fossil formations, geology, fossil entombment, mud, sediments, geological timescale. New categories of formations, new categories of rock formations, sedimentary deposits, catastrophic events. There's nothing. This is unchanged. The Earth's climates, the atmosphere, natural catastrophe, impact on mainstream science, wipes it right out. The acceptance of mud fossil theories as legitimate would be a dramatic challenge to controversial paleontological and geological theories. Guess what? They changed the name of geology at Yale. There's no more geology at Yale. It's called now planetary sciences, since my work, not Derek Briggs, my work. All right, so everything would be redefined, everything. Dating, rock layers, everything. Scientific debate and reevaluation. Spur's theories were proven and have sparked major debates within the scientific community, and I have already proven them without doubt. Them to refuse to look is fraud, malfeasance, fiduciary failure, and there could be a whole lot more problems here for them, and I hope there will be. All right, research into new fossilization processes, public perception and study of ancient civilizations. We've just been denied our truth in history. Everything. Spurs theory is often linked to catastrophism. Well, it's Velikovsky wrote about it. Venus almost hit Earth, and yes, we had the Great Flood, and that's what created the mud fossils. And just like I said in the ancient texts, there were giants in the Earth in those days, and then more after that, and then God decided to wipe them off the face of the planet, and that's what happened with the Great Flood. So now they're going to all kind of things, new paradigms in human origins. Conclusion. Let's just read this. If Spur's mud fossil theories were proven correct, it would lead to a major paradigm shift in multiple fields of all of these things, evolutionary biology, everything. Significant changes in the way we view preservation of life and life itself, my friends. The development of ancient civilizations, all these different gods and dragons and giants, and the history is unfolding in front of your face if you can open your little eyes. And that's what has not happened. The PhDs have PhDolia. PhDolia. You know what that means? They can't see what's in front of their face. They say we have Pleiadolia or whatever they call it, which means we can see anything. Well, no, they have PhDolia. They can't see anything. They want to see what they can see with a $sign on it, say funding for you. And guess who paid Derek Briggs for my research? Guess who? See, I put into the federal government and NASA pay Derek Briggs and Yale University for their research on soft body preservation of fossils. Yes, Derek Briggs and Yale received federal funding, including from NASA and other government agencies related to soft body preservation. These are all government agencies. We're paying them. National Science Foundation, all of this stuff. NASA, the reason they got involved, I think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so, is because I contacted them in 2014 when Curiosity hit the Mars surface. I saw all the mud fossils. I got a hold of NASA. I said, you got life there. And the next thing I know, they're paying Yale to see is soft body. I said, this is all soft body stuff. These are all muscles and muscle sarcomeres. You got veins, you got arteries, you got interstitium. You got everything up there. You got the Mars blueberries, the same as the Moki marbles. There's no question what you got there. They go to Yale and they give them a whole bunch of money. Yale says, yep, that's correct, but it's not. They're just slimy little creatures. There's nothing like Roger says. There's no body parts. Totally wrong. This is an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. And I want, hopefully we're going to get some kind of huge financial settlement from these people. This is terrible. This is the biggest discovery in human history. And Derek Briggs basically took advantage of me for my naivete to go to him, who was the expert, not realizing they would just take my research and call it their own. Is exactly what happened. Now, if he has a problem with me saying this, I want him to talk to me, because he won't talk about the actual evidence that I sent to him. I sent all of this stuff, and this is his assistant. Talk to Armand. Armand, how you doing, buddy? I told you at the end of this, you guys were going to look like absolute idiots. And Armand says, well, I guess we won't be the only ones. And I said, yes, Armand, you right. Remember that, Armand? Armand is Derek Briggs' assistant. And Briggs, I got all the emails. So if he wants to talk about this, let's talk. All right, I'm fed up with it. I'm just absolutely, unbelievably fed up with the absolute nonsense and the disgraceful disrespect for students, the fiduciary failure. And in my mind, if you look up what fiduciary fraud is, it absolutely 100% applies. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. And then I'll say, well, I guess I was wrong. But if I'm right, I'm right. Let's get this out in the open. This is absolute nonsense. This is an absolute disgrace to humanity. 100% disgrace to humanity is what's going on right now in the academia. 100% disgrace. There is no truth that will be accepted. It's you say what I tell you to say, or I fail you, make you look like an idiot, and keep your money. And all I'm interested in is your money anyway, so you better do what I tell you. That's the way I see academia right now. I am disgusted with this whole system. Thank you, I love you all, but some of you sure as hell ain't going to make it to where the good place is after this life, because you don't even know that there's a God, and you hate God. And I'm going to tell you something right now, God is not very fond of you, my friends. Just look it up. There will be false teachers, and their destruction does not sleep. Have a wonderful day. I love you all.